because those who were behind the agitation which ousted Sheikh Hasina will not stop till they get hold of power. I think India too has basically made a statement saying that we want free, fair, and inclusive election. Now, inclusive means here, I think that if the Awami League is excluded, then it won't be inclusive. Then the third factor is that whether this government, led by Professor Yunus, will actually have the elections. The July Charter overtakes the Constitution. Then I think fascism is back. In that sense, what Hasina was accused of, journalists have been put in jail on charges of murder. I know some of them, and it's incredible. Even in the best of times and normal times, the BNP has had to join hands with the Jamaat to get a majority. And on their own, this time, it seems difficult that they will get a majority. Interim government cooperates in fixing the election, then it's possible that Jamaat will get more seats and even a majority. Now, my sense is that the BNP has reached out to India because I know that their delegations have come here. I have sometimes met them also. And so I think they want an understanding with India. But that's not to say that India is supporting them or in that they have done a deal with India. I don't think that is correct.
So,
yes, BNP has always had that problem of where it stands. Last time it tried something with the Jamaat-e-Islami. It tried being hostile to India, and it didn't work. And I think BNP is, in my view, a reformed party in that sense, ideologically as well. That they are probably they won't be going back to those kind of policies that they followed in the past.
Hi, this is Pratim Ranjan Bose, and you are watching Podcast with Pratim. In this episode, we will discuss Bangladesh, an oft-repeated topic on this forum. I have with me India's former High Commissioner to Dhaka. I think he also was a Deputy High Commissioner before that, Mr. Pinak Ranjan Chakravarty. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sir, Sheikh Hasina has finally broke her silence. She gave a series of interviews, which I'm sure is not the end of it. More should be coming. Awami League gave a strike call on 13th of this month. I'm not aware how prudent is that, but meanwhile, Financial Times spoke about the collapse of the July spirit in Bangladesh. So what do you make out of these parallel developments? Do you think that Awami League should get an opportunity or will get an opportunity to contest the election? Now, assuming that it contests, given the situation over there, the law and order, etc., and the overall political scene, will it be peaceful and fair? Army, you know that army is returning to the barracks just before the election. It should have been the reverse. Over to you, sir.
Well, the situation there is a little uncertain, perhaps chaotic. And I think there are different parties and organizations trying to use this opportunity to make a grab for power, basically. Because those who were behind the agitation which ousted Sheikh Hasina will not stop till they get hold of power. But that is a big question mark still. The Dhaka University and other university elections showed that perhaps the Jamaat has showed a winning streak there. But then Jamaat has never won more than 10, 12, maximum, I think, 17 seats ever.
Right.
In parliament, and its vote share has never been very high. Now, to expect that the Jamaat, of course, thinks that it will get closer to power, perhaps not with the majority, but with a substantial number of seats that will help them, negotiate for power. The students too also expect that they will get some seats, etc. But I'm not so sure whether the Students' Party, the NCP, has enough traction in the countryside, where they can really, pick up votes and win constituencies. This is the, parliamentary system, the first past the post system. That is why I think there are doubts even within the Jamaat. So they are asking and demanding that the election be held on the system of proportional representation. Hence, you can see that they do feel that the first past the post, the current system as laid out in the constitution, may not deliver the number of seats to them. And given the history of elections in Bangladesh, the Jamaat has never won a majority. And so this is the situation.
In Bangladesh as well as in Pakistan.
Indeed, in Pakistan too, although Pakistan has turned so much more Islamic, still for some reason the people do not want to vote for these Islamic parties. So that's the same feeling persists in or exists in Bangladesh too. So the two mainstream parties, the BNP and the Awami League, have been alternating in power, although the BNP has had coalition with the Jamaat-e-Islami, because it could never get the majority. So they needed the few seats the Jamaat has to get over that magic mark of 150 to get a majority. Now, so I think on the next question is the issue of Awami League. Hasina given an interview. By the way, Sheikh Hasina has been talking to her supporters virtually, online with supporters abroad and within Bangladesh for quite some time. Although this time she has come out and given an interview, and she obviously has said that to have a fair, free, and inclusive election should be the objective. And if that does not happen, then of course it won't be inclusive, and it won't be free and fair. I think India too has basically made a statement saying that we want free, fair, and inclusive election. Now, inclusive means here, I think that if the Awami League is excluded, then it won't be inclusive. Excluding Awami League would be I think, not a fair thing to do. It is, after all, the largest party with a history of struggle for the liberation of Bangladesh. And then it has been in power too for quite some time in different periods. So this is the situation at the moment. And then the third factor is that whether this government, led by Professor Yunus, will actually have the elections. And some people are even saying that elections should be postponed. And that demand is coming mainly from the students who have tasted power, and they know that in an election they may not get back into power. Hence, they are demanding that this government should continue so that they can enjoy the fruits of power that they are doing so now. That, I think, that's my reading. I may be completely wrong, but that's how I see it.
Okay. A very interesting situation emerged in the meantime is that they signed a July resolution where parties agreed. Now that is, not only dictating terms on the parliament, but actually there is a clause which says that after so many days, if you don't do, it will be auto included in the acts or the systems. So do you think that they will really be able to pull through with this? I mean, this is unheard of, that some resolution is going to change something, and that too, in such a fluid status of the government.
If that happens, as you say, that the July Charter overtakes the Constitution, then I think fascism is back. In that sense, what Hasina was accused of, they will be accused of the same thing, that you are trying to change things without due procedure. there has to be a National Assembly to amend the Constitution as per the whatever the July Charter says. For example, that nobody can have more than 2 terms in office and things like that. And whether the system should continue as first past the post. But at the moment, you cannot have the July Charter sort of overriding the constitution of the country.
And remember,
That's
they will hold a vote on that with
well, they
this.
can have a referendum, but that still doesn't legally satisfy the conditions of changing or amending the constitution. If you want to do that, you must do it through an elected National Assembly. That's how every country works. I mean, those who follow the parliamentary system. Now, if you want to impose something, then what's the difference? Then you are acting also in an authoritative and dictatorial way. So they should, I think, understand, whoever is demanding all this, that they should fight the election if they are so popular and they think that their July charter is so popular. Let them fight the election. Come to the parliament and in enough numbers, if they can, and then push for amending the constitution as per the July charter. That would be the correct thing to do. And I think everybody in Bangladesh understands that. But as you know, that they have a problem because they will probably not get very many seats in parliament. So they know that in the parliament, they may not be able to achieve what they want to achieve through these kind of diktats. So that is the situation at the moment. It's not a happy situation because I do believe that Bangladesh should have a proper election, inclusive, of course. And I don't think the Awami League should be banned. If the Awami League is so unpopular now, let them fight the election and suffer the consequences in that sense. That and if the BNP believes that it has an upper hand, so be it. I mean, let BNP also fight. Let everybody fight the election.
They don't want to put themselves into that test. Yeah.
Well, I think what will happen is that if they don't allow the Awami League, the elections can be challenged and they can be declared null and void also. I mean,
The same way they challenged the 2014 verdict or 2024 verdict.
Quite right. Anybody can challenge the election. But of course, the judiciary has been compromised and to quite an extent, and they have been weaponized to do all kinds of things. Massive number of cases of murder against people who I know personally and who there's no reason to charge them.
The former Chief Justice is charged with a murder.
Lots of people, journalists have been put in jail on charges of murder. I know some of them, and it's incredible and unbelievable that these kind of charges are brought against them. Of course, this is with the purpose that they should not get bail or something. And the judiciary is sort of kind of helping the interim government, which itself is unconstitutional. And so I think this is the mess that Bangladesh is in. And the sooner they get out of it would be better for its future. And the only way to get out of it is to have a free, fair, and inclusive election.
We will come back to this point about where Bangladesh is heading to. But before that, right at this moment, there is a rumor. You and I know that Bangladesh runs on rumor. So there is a strong rumor in Bangladesh that BNP has secured Indian support, or India is supporting BNP, whichever is true. And this is standing in contrast to the sentiments that is there, that even within the fringe elements in BNP, I'm not talking about the core leadership, but I spoke to a couple of people, and they are saying that Jamaat is strong this time, and they can get many seats. But whichever way, as in August 2024. And immediately after that, the mood was like if there was an election, BNP would have won 200 seats. I mean, at least. But right at this moment, lot many people expect that if there is an election without Awami League and BNP is coming to power, but they wouldn't have a very dominating majority. It is questionable whether they will have the majority. So in that case, they say that BNP will, this government will be very lame duck kind of situation. What is your expectation about us, where election is held without Awami League? Forget about other issues, but whether BNP will be able to pull through, whether they will get a dominant majority and they can pull through, etc., etc. What is your expectation?
Even in the best of times and normal times, the BNP has had to join hands with the Jamaat to get a majority. And on their own, this time, it seems difficult that they will get a majority. But I believe and I think that they might emerge as the largest party. I still don't think the Jamaat can get the maximum number of seats or get a majority. But they might get more than they have got last time because they will cash in on the fact that they provided the sort of stormtroopers for the agitation, because really the students who actually started the agitation were pushed aside, and this was taken over by a regime change operation that was conducted by the Americans with Pakistani support. So I think the Jamaat, which has always enjoyed very close ties with the Americans and the Pakistanis, will certainly try to get more seats. Now, if they try and the interim government cooperates in fixing the election, then it's possible that Jamaat will get more seats and even a majority. But that kind of fixing without the Awami League will make the election completely, unacceptable to the rest of the world, I think, and to the people of Bangladesh, because I think the Bangladeshi voter knows very well how democracy functions. Now, you ask whether there is a deal between India and BNP. I wouldn't go that far to say that there is a deal. And some people say that India has only been dealing with the Awami League. That is not true. I think India maintained relationship with everybody, including the BNP. I can personally vouch for that, and I have known many BNP ministers. I have friends in the BNP as well. So I don't think that is
I
a
think
fact.
you were as Deputy High Commissioner when BNP was in power, right?
Indeed, I was, yes. Now, my sense is that the BNP has reached out to India because I know that their delegations have come here. I have sometimes met them also. And so I think they want an understanding with India. But that's not to say that India is supporting them or that they have done a deal with India. I don't think that is correct.
Right. No, the second part is rumor, as I said, and don't. I jolly well expect that the rumor is planted by the other side because to garner some anti-India votes. So everything is possible, and
Yeah,
Jamaat
yeah,
is the
all is possible. I see during election time, a lot of things happen. There's rhetoric, then there's
let's
factual, factual manipulation, all kinds of things,
right,
conspiracy theories. All this will happen.
right. Here is a question. BNP, you are very right. We have been working with BNP. I think Narasimha Rao government tried to work with BNP. Then during 2000, Atal Bihari Vajpayee tried to work with BNP.
Yes, I
So
know that.
very
I know
strongly,
and I
you
know.
know it far better than me. But there are, I think we have got the best of the deals, the biggest private investment offer, the gas pipeline thing. So many things have been brought out in those days, and nothing worked really. And our experience hadn't been good, to put it mildly. And I'm quoting from your book only. So that said, let's assume that BNP comes to power. Just an assumption, a hypothesis. Do you expect it to, because in the interim period from July 2024 to till now, BNP was quite confused as where its ideological anchor is. Awami League was not there, but BNP went to the right instead of taking the center place. So, I think it is the most ideologically lost or confused party at this moment. So,
Yes, BNP has always had that problem of where it stands. Last time it tried something with the Jamaat-e-Islami. It tried being hostile to India, and it didn't work because it led to the caretaker system, the government taking over, and then the BNP had problems. And I think the fact is that a lot of these corruption cases, they were convicted. So I think the BNP, in my
the
view,
terror part was the worst.
oh yes, they're indulging with the what do you call, the radical or Islamic organizations, as well as the Indian insurgent groups, etc., which they tried to utilize as leverage against India and domestically. Those bomb blasts.
Right, Bangla Bhais and all those things, right?
But the caretaker government came and cleaned up some of that, and the Awami League came and also did its own cleaning up because of various terrorist actions that took place during their time as well. So, ISIS related and all kinds of things. So I think they tried their dalliance with terrorism, but it didn't work. How much can you depend on terrorism to do your politics? So that didn't work. So I think those lessons may have been learned. And I think BNP is in my view, a reformed party in that sense, ideologically as well. That they are probably they won't be going back to those kind of policies that they followed in the past. And so this is, of course, mine is an optimistic view. I don't know whether everybody shares this, but I think, and I want to believe that they are a reformed party. And those who are moderates in the BNP and others, they seem to convey that view when they meet people here in Delhi. And so that is why I think this rumor has arisen that BNP has done a deal with India. Why is India important? I mean, India is not a player in the domestic sense but the problem is with all our neighbors, the smaller ones, that India becomes a domestic factor. This, unfortunately, is true of all the smaller neighbors. So I think we'll have to live with that. It's embedded in this way the South Asia or the subcontinent is structured historically and geographically.